We're joined now by Andrew Lownie, the biographer who wrote the book on Prince Andrew and his fall from grace, the fall of the House of York. You see, you heard me saying those words again there, Andrew, that all media operatives have to say when we do these stories. Prince Andrew repeatedly denies the allegations. He continues to deny ever meeting Virginia Giuffre. But now we see these emails published yesterday, reportedly exchanged between him and Epstein in 2011, where effectively they are conspiring between them to smear her. Andrew talks about her date of birth. He refers to her social security number. He questions whether she has a criminal record. He makes a reference to that photograph, the one that he now says he thinks is a fake. And yet 8 years later, he's solemnly assuring Emily Maitlis, Newsnight and us that he's never heard of her, never even met her. How could he possibly forget somebody that he'd had an exchange of emails about of that nature 8 years earlier?
Well, he clearly hasn't. I mean, I think that during the course of my 4 years' research, I found you couldn't take a single thing Prince Andrew said without checking it. I mean, I do put in the book, in fact, that, I mean, he was conspiring and bringing in a PR firm, conspiring with Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein immediately afterwards to try and discredit her and investigating her. So, I mean, I've known that these denials weren't true. It's the same with Sarah Ferguson. She was actually staying with Epstein for years after she publicly cut off links. So I'm afraid these two, the links with Epstein began earlier, lasted longer and much deeper than people have realised. And this story is finally coming out. I think these emails are only the beginning, I think, of a tsunami of material that will emerge, and this is clearly what the palace are worried about.
And already we know he's facing a police investigation then over these claims that he asked a close protection officer to find out some information using her date of birth, the social security number. So where do you think this will go from here? Well,
I hope it leads to an investigation. I think there are strong grounds for investigation. I mean, several times people have complained and nothing has happened. I asked the Met myself for details under FOI what they'd done, and they refused to either confirm or deny that they'd done anything. I think also there's a case for him to make himself available to the authorities in the States. I think there's a very strong case there. And we actually had, 20 years ago, MPs calling for him to be investigated by the National Crime Agency for his time as a special trade envoy. And there's a lot of material in my book I wasn't able to put in for legal reasons, which I hope I can now put in. But I think there are grounds there for his time as a special trade envoy, in which he, for example, malfeasance in public office, the same thing that's been suggested here, could be levelled against him. So I hope there will be a proper investigation into him and not the cover-up that's gone on so far. We also have to remember the palace has been trying to suppress this story for years. We remember the story with ABC and Amy Robach, who was actually prevented from running an investigation or transmitting an investigation under the threat that if they did so, ABC would get no cooperation from the palace in future.
What you seem to be saying, and many are saying this morning, is this, that Prince Andrew is potentially a material witness to serious sexual wrongdoing. He's never denied being very close friends with Ghislaine Maxwell, who is now serving a very long prison sentence for effectively procuring underage girls for her boss and her lover, Epstein. One of the allegations that's going to be published in the book tomorrow is that on the third occasion that Giuffre says that Andrew assaulted her sexually, it was as part of an orgy involving at least 8 other young girls. Now, if that's true, then Andrew's a material witness to that. Do you think he could be... He's not going to be persuaded, clearly, based on his decency and good character, his sense of honour, which he talks about. But do you think he could be... leverage could be applied to get him to give evidence?
Yes, absolutely, and I think Sarah Ferguson is also a material witness. I mean, she actually had more numbers in the Little Black Book than Epstein, and regularly stayed at the various homes. So, I mean, she should be volunteering, and I think the police protection officers should also be prepared to give statements. I mean, they're the ones who could either defend him or in a sense, put the nail in his coffin. And I think, you know, there's been a suppression of what they would want to say. They were told that if they, in a sense, complained, they would just basically be back on the beat in Brixton. So this is not just a problem with Andrew, it's a wider problem of the palace. You know, you were discussing earlier how the Queen would just give a new honour every time that Epstein, that Andrew's in the news for something to do with Epstein. She was colluding with him in terms of some of the work he was doing with the presidents of Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan. This is a much bigger problem, and I think the palace need to get ahead of it because they're way behind public opinion on this.
And what about the palace reaction so far? I mean, obviously there was pressure for Andrew to give up his ties titles, which he did do at the end of last week, didn't he? But there's, you know,
pathetic.
the talk was that it should have gone further than that.
Of course it should. And I mean, it's always playing catch-up with the palace. I mean, reputation management is about nipping these things in the bud. You know, I don't think anyone believes this abeyance of titles. It's perfectly possible, as you were discussing earlier, through letters patent or through quick parliamentary legislation to deal with all these issues. And they really need to get a grip on it.
We've not heard anything from Sarah Ferguson. We've had the usual denial of any wrongdoing from Prince Andrew. You have said, and you've been saying this consistently for quite a long time, that you believe, and you say this with a kind of calm certainty, you believe that Andrew's going to end up behind bars.
Yes, I think that is eventually what's going to happen. I mean, if the due process of law takes place. And I'm hoping that perhaps with this changed mood over the last few weeks, I feel the press are more emboldened to write stories that they've known about. I'm just hoping that our legal system is prepared to bite the bullet. You know, no one, including members of the royal family, are above the law.
If he were to form a view privately that you're right, and that is his fate, do you think he might go into exile? I mean, I understand, I think you told us...
Yes, I've got a picture of the palace in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, that's right, that there is a fully staffed palace currently in Abu Dhabi, the gift of the UAE's ruling House of Nahyan, for his personal use whenever he wants to go. It's permanently there. It's there as we speak, a fully staffed palace available to him.
Cokes in the fridge a lot. Yes, he could go there. He could go to, I mean, possibly Switzerland. I mean, Sarah Ferguson was going to become a Swiss citizen. It'll be interesting to see if they actually stay together. But that would certainly solve the problem of Royal Lodge. You know, again, he talks about, as you say, being a man of honour and putting his country first. Well, if that's the case, he should vacate Royal Lodge. The optics of a man like that staying in a 30-bedroom house is awful. And he's really, I mean, he's causing huge reputational damage to the monarchy.